Welcome back across space and time to the realm of all things Star Trek on Spectrum Sanctorum. Welcome to Captain's Quadrant. I have really figured out space and time as I am not in my normal place. I am across the United States. We've got Lieutenant Jason with us, who is over in Australia, and Admiral Jason, who is out in Texas.
There's too many Jasons on this show.
No, there's never enough Jason.
Exactly. We're taking over.
Yeah. So I have managed to, this is the J show because I'm Joe. So I have managed to sync our coordinates and beam us all into the space and realm of the Captain's Quadrant. And we're here to talk about Star Trek Picard and the latest episode, episode 8, which is unbelievable that we're almost at the end.
Episode Mercy.
Mercy.
Yeah, 100%. So
I don't know why they would have an episode called Thank You in French, but you know.
Yeah,
I don't question why English people are living in France in the 25th century. I just watch and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonder if the French, what they're like, whether they're still very much into pastries and thinking they're better than most people. I wonder what they're like in the 25th century.
Yeah, that's a good question.
According to Picard, it's always dark there, so I don't know.
There you go. It's always dark. So
yes,
so certainly some environmental issues then, I would suggest.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where Space Dock is orbiting. I don't know. Just casting a giant shadow, a giant mushroom shadow on France.
Oh, poor France. Pray for France. Everybody speaks British in France for some reason. Yeah. I'm going to go right into the episode
summary.
Episode summary. What fun, what fun. With time running out before the launch of the Europa mission, Picard and Guinan must free themselves from the FBI custody. Seven and Raffi come face to face with Jurati and the horror of what she's become in episode 8, Mercy. Guys, what did you think? Let's just get off the bat.
I'm going to kick into it. I like 70-80% of this episode.
Okay.
So I think there's some good nuggets in there, but there are a few head scratching moments for me as I get into it, you know. But and a lot of it has to do around Wells, the character Wells, and all of that. So, but yeah, overall, I mean, we're moving the plot forward. I mean, we're getting to a. I don't know, because they've really painted themselves into a corner here with this episode, I think, and with this storyline, but we'll get into that. That was my first impression, at least.
Okay. Admiral?
Well, I'm going to echo that. I think that 70% of the episode was good, 30% was but I think, if anything, this and the last 2 episodes have kind of solidified for me that I think that Star Trek Picard would have been better served if it was a 6-episode run instead of a 10-episode run, because it just seems like so many of these episodes are spinning their wheels.
Yeah, it's a filler.
Yes.
Right?
There's a lot of filler scenes, actually. And in this episode especially, we retread things we've already seen a couple of episodes.
Yes, and the Wells plot to me was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah,
it was just there to get Guinan and Q in the same room, which could have been done in the episode where she supposedly summoned Q in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even bother with this? It was just
exactly. We'll get into that. I mean, pros and cons. I think
we're doing.
I think it's time for our pros and cons.
Let's do it.
Pros and cons. All right, Admiral.
Yeah, we're kind of into it already.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I think
continue,
we're straight
please,
into
Admiral.
a con here, aren't we, Admiral?
Yeah.
Get into it. Let loose, mate. The problems with Wells as a character. You can go, and then I'll agree or add some more. You there? We lost your audio.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah,
my audio cut out.
We're getting into our pros and cons. Do you want to let loose about the whole Wells storyline?
Well,
Wells.
As I said, it's just, to me, it was kind of a bait, because, you know, the actor did appear in an episode of Voyager where he was a time agent. His name is Wells, so you're just like, Wells, time travel. He's going to be with, you know, the Temporal Conservation Corps, whatever they called it, you know, from the 28th century. And then it just disappeared like a fart in the wind. It was nothing. And they did not even, they didn't even escape. It was just kind of like, well, actually, we are from the 25th century. And then he was like, okay, you can go now. I've been fired. And I'm just kind of like,
and mind
why?
you,
Why?
Would the FBI allow someone that they just fired to carry a box, go back down into an interrogation space?
No.
Anywhere except the front door of the building at that point.
Exactly.
And just like, yeah, you can kind of move forward. It was pointless.
Now, you know, in the writer's defense, it might be a red herring. He might actually be a time agent. And the whole firing thing was, you know, a fake out, but I don't know.
But then,
if they don't do something with it, it's gonna be forever one of the most pointless plot threads on this entire show.
But if that's the case, I mean, a red herring, you should have at least really shortened that down, because it's, again, why do all that filler then? If it is a red herring and he is a time agent, let's just get to the point here.
Do you want to know my theory?
Yep, go on.
My theory is that this season of Star Trek Picard, they have been taking the best bits of Star Trek 4 and redoing them. And this was Chekhov getting captured on board the aircraft, the nuclear vessel.
Wow,
Enterprise.
I picked up on that, but on point.
Really good one.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's why
the other con I had in regards to Wells was the Spielberg ET opening of a young boy running through the woods with a torchlight. He's been chased by something, and I don't know.
It was the
Vulcans. I get it.
Remember
yeah.
Why was it not the Vulcans from Carbon Creek, though? It should have been the Vulcans from Carbon Creek.
That would have been good.
Well, that's it. What I was trying to get at. Isn't that where he's supposed to be? He's Carbon Creek, right? This is a reference too. So why wouldn't they have? Where did these? I can't remember. I mean, I've seen it, I think, twice that episode, but yeah, it seemed out of place. It seemed like they're in the right location, but the Vulcans didn't seem quite right to me. And don't know how I feel about Vulcans being that inefficient. Like if they were going to mind meld.
They would purge.
They would have done the job. They would have done the job right. So, which is just a Men in Black thing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
And they go on to preach all about responsibility and not messing with other cultures in Enterprise. 100 years later, and it's just like we're watching this.
Exactly.
And maybe that's why they say that. Oh, we messed up once, so trust us.
It never.
What about you, Joe? What issues did you have before we get into the pros?
I'm loving the season. I felt that this was a misstep. I had one con before we go into the pros, and that was the throwaway love story between our Riker character here, Rios, and the Doctor. I felt that was unnecessary. They just needed to hook up with somebody. They have to keep in the line of, the Kirk conquering women in past and the future.
It's Jillian. She's the new Jillian Taylor.
Oh man,
yeah, it's some cool. You know what? I don't know if I hated that too much, because I don't know. I mean, I should, but in a way, I felt at least they're doing something with her character, because that's what really annoyed me last time, was the fact that her character seemingly was a throwaway. I don't know. I kind of like Rios being happy in a way. But how does it end? They go to the future? Is this what the deal is? She's Star Trek 4. She's going to end up in the future. I mean, she can't be left there, right?
That's true, because she knows all the. Well, I have a feeling now. I don't want to go.
No matter what, they've screwed the time continuum.
Correct.
There's no way out of this, right? They've screwed it.
Correct. I have a theory about that, and it basically comes in with some of our pros, and that is the Borg Queen Girardi. I think that she's really doing well as the Terminator. If you have that image of Girardi.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah,
I was thinking more number 6 from Battlestar Galactica, but it goes with James Callis being on last week.
Yes, that's true. Blonde too. Yeah, that's a good call. That's
red
a good
dress
call.
And just like
but I mean,
crazy.
The Terminatrix was also in
just
red.
Like I like them. So yeah,
and also blonde. So it's a double.
I laughed out loud knowing that she's getting all that liquid metal kind of stuff out of car batteries. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was very clever.
Like, you'd be scratching your head. You walk out to your car, wouldn't you? And be going like, What the happened here? Like,
all she'd have to do is like rip Soong's Tesla open, and she'd be fine. You know.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a whole big battery in that Tesla.
It's a pedestrian avoidance system isn't working, obviously. So just
the thing. Yeah, he ran right over Picard. Another pro, a surprising pro, is the end of the buddy cop squad of Seven and Raffi. And I think that's, and we got another Space Legolas appearance.
Yes, the return of the ghost of Space Legolas.
I thought that was a big pro. It was nice to see him again. We got a nice flashback between.
Well, that's filling a giant gap of lack of information we had. So
yes,
because I was struggling to go, I get it, Raffi, he died, and I know you're upset, but Starfleet, so you would have seen
die all the time.
Why are you so locked into this character? And we get a scene of that, I suppose, a bit of exposition.
Yes, and that's a big pro for me.
Leave.
Yes,
he has to go.
Yeah. Right, I thought that was a big pro because, like I said, we got a huge understanding as to why Raffi feels this way about Space Legolas, and I'll never remember his Elnor. Yes,
Elnor. Yes,
Elnor. But ever since you put Space Legolas in my head, it's hard to kind of But yes, I felt that was a really nice touch, a nice piece of filler for not only the character but Space Legolas, to have him come back, but for Raffi as well. And as to what I was saying earlier, my pro, the breakup of the cop buddy, because I really feel that Seven wants to be president and not 7 of 9, the vigilante, because I feel like, especially in this episode, she's kind of having her own internal drama, and it's really coming to fruition here. And I think we're seeing it come into a greater light now with this episode.
Yeah, so I agree. Her reaction to being asked to, be a Borg analog wise, what would she be doing in this moment? That her real negative reaction to being asked that question by Ralphie, it certainly set up that, only enhanced that setup of the character having internal conflict where she may not want to go back and be the 7 of the normal timeline.
I really enjoyed the line about I can still taste that metal in my mouth, whenever she was recalling what it was like to be assimilated. I thought that was really chilling. And, honestly, one of the highlights of the episode I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about yet.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. When she does start in that alleyway and they do start to kind of delve into that, that was really good. Really good performance too. Really buy into the fact that she's in post-trauma, I suppose, because she's feeling normal at the moment. She's like, in a way, a version of PTSD that, unlike other people who have a severe bit of trauma and they generally don't go back to it, her fate to save the galaxy, she's going to have to go back and be the being that she doesn't really want to be.
Right.
That's why her and Raffi go so well together, because they're both PTSD and they're both traumatized.
Yeah,
Seven by the Borg and Raffi by herself, because Raffi is a gaslighter, and that's how she got Elnor to come along. And she's lost
a manipulator.
Elnor, she's lost her son, she's lost everybody around her.
Yeah,
Seven kind of does the same thing. She pushes everybody away.
That scene with Raffi and Space Legolas, and the way she does it, the way she gaslights him, it's really well done, I thought. You can see her like she's thinking about it, and then she turns to him and like, you go be you. You do.
Sean Ferrick actually talked about that as well, saying that Elnor, who believes in absolute candor, would automatically assume everybody's telling him the truth, so he would be the perfect person to fall for that narcissistic, manipulative behavior.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, some of these pros in this, another big pro in this episode I like is obviously Dr. Soong storyline.
Oh, yes.
And I feel that core, like Isa Bronus, I believe, Soji she's gotten a lot more to do this season. I find that character arc so much more satisfying, what she's going through, especially in this episode.
I agree.
Again, when you're talking about filler, the only slightly negative is that we kind of went back over again what he'd been doing. There's like filling a couple of minutes, like she's on the computer doing her research.
Dad, what are you doing? Dad,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, back to that. So it was a bit of
like that.
Yeah.
But I love the where she.
I love how Q implanted himself in the program, though.
Yeah,
in the VR program.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I feel like my favorite pro is any of the screen time that John DeLance had this week. Every time he was on screen, he stole the show.
Yes,
Have you
did.
read anything online about people being annoyed about how John DeLance is playing Q this season? Because I love it. I'm really into it. I like seeing a different version. A vulnerable Q is something interesting, you know? I don't want him to go out like a punk, and we can talk about that in future expectations, but I'm really enjoying it. I loved his scene with Guinan, though I just wish it was Whoopi. Like, I really wish it was Whoopi, whether they just spent the money and de-aged her.
You know, you honestly do have to admit that Ito Gaeri really is, as the show goes on, kind of getting more and more Whoopi-ish with her performance,
mannerisms.
Some of her line deliveries were very Whoopi.
Yeah. So she's doing a good job. But I'm with you. I'm with you. I do wish it was Whoopi Goldberg in those scenes too. But you know, the actress is doing a good job.
Yeah, she is. I've definitely no complaints on that. And that scene was quite a good. I like the fact. We haven't met yet. That kind of
he realizes
with that always hovering above them. That actually they haven't really. And he addresses it.
And I also enjoyed seeing her further powers. Her empathic powers allowed her to reach out to Picard and give him a warning, and we got to see that her species has got a little bit more than we thought, because it just seemed like they would they're just listeners, but in reality they have all of these abilities. So that's why they had to come to an agreement with the Q continuum. So that was very cool.
You know what I hope, though? They don't reveal too many of their abilities. The great thing for me for Guinan was there's always an element of mystery around what she is. We knew that she was powerful, but we don't know how she's powerful. Like, I would hate it to turn into a Jedi thing where every Star Wars movie, they will get a new force power, and by the end, it's kind of all laid out in front of you. Q being mysterious and Guinan being mysterious makes them great kind of, a great couple to go against as characters.
Yeah, it's like positive and negative. Really there are forces that oppose each other.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And I got to say, cinematography wise, yes, that was great. Where the two of them are having that great conversation, and
I missed out a couple of pics, and that
this is the right where she walks out on her dad.
Yeah.
The scene where, if you could put that Q by himself image.
Oh, yes.
This image, I thought, even though it's me in the background, I thought this image.
I didn't even notice that until now.
Shoot, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, you could have maybe got a story, like a credit later on.
Guest starring Joe Dove.
Mysterious man behind the scenes. Who's responsible for the loss of the Q's power?
I thought the lighting was just excellent. It gave him his mannerisms, his facial expressions. You sense that vulnerability. The lighting gave him an extra echelon of mystique for his character, because he's losing powers. He can't really do what he's used to doing, but he's still powerful because it's Q, and he still has this unlimited intelligence that he's able to figure out Dr. Soong's laboratorial mishaps and virtual world. So if he's able to implant himself in virtual programming, obviously he's still got this intelligence that's just unparalleled. But Admiral, I have to ask, how do you feel about this Q vulnerability? Do you think this is going to be a big payoff in the end, or is this just going to be something that's going to be ending up a con in the long run?
I have a number of theories that I don't want to go into, mostly because I hate being wrong. But if it is a cop out, I'm going to be very disappointed. For example, if they bring Q back in a synth body, I'm gonna I won't be able to deal with it. I know that was a low blow.
Yeah, I'm emotional.
But I do want there to be repercussions. That's the big thing. I want it to be repercussion, whether Q dies or whether Q lives. I think there's got to be a price to be paid somewhere, or something has got to change. And I've kind of got this, given what we know is coming next season, I kind of have this idea that this is going to be the swan song for a lot of the La Sirena crew. I kind of think that we're going to be seeing, there's at least 2 of them that I think are not going to be in next season, just based on what I'm kind of sensing. But I do think that somehow or another, the whole plot with Q and the whole plot with the Queen are going to smash together, and we'll have this whole full circle thing with Q and the Borg, because Q did introduce the Borg to the Federation. So it would be, I think, fitting for Q to go out also involved in the Borg somehow.
So let us jump into our future speculations.
Yeah, that was definitely a future speculation.
Let's jump into it. And I love that one.
Yeah, that's a great theory, that one.
Yeah.
Because Q, for me, what I loved about that scene too is he's internally conflicted about what's happening. He was like going, I thought, I was going to die. I was going to move into the next reality, whatever that is. And there's part of him that was ready. It's ready to happen, but he doesn't want it happening this way. That's what I got out of it. It was made a beautiful internal conflict for him as a character. But I think you're right. I think you're 100% right, Jason. That's how you tie it up, isn't it? Q somehow is probably going to sacrifice himself to fix the timeline.
Yes. I kind of had this long-standing idea that the entire series, the series finale was going to end with Q giving Picard Q powers and then telling Picard, go explore the galaxy and go explore the universe, and that would be how the show ends. But I don't know.
Give him the Deep Space Nine ending.
Yeah, just Picard maybe Picard and Q goes off together, and I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Mon Capitaine. That would be a great ending.
Crusher maneuver.
Or Wesley could do it. Wesley could do it.
Oh yeah, Wesley's pretty powerful too now.
Justice for Will. We got to get Will back on this show.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I know.
We need to bring Wheaton.
He wasn't enlisted for next season, was he? He was the only.
No, he was not. But that's what I'm also kind of thinking, that's another. We haven't put him on where he's not going to be on the show next season. Wink.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to drop my future speculation in, and I believe that we're going to get a huge. I agree with Admiral as far as some of these crew members aren't going to make it, even though there is rumor that they're going to have a spinoff show after season 3 of Picard. So they may be able to bring some back, probably Space Legolas, if anybody. But I do think that Raffi and Rios are not going to make it. I believe, based off what I saw at the end, where they took that mercenary group and she basically assimilated them. I believe we are going to see the Doctor and Rios become assimilated along with the La Sirena. And I think that's why the ship of the Borg that spews into the future has this odd shape, because it's the La Sirena that had been assimilated by the Borg, and it's Rios in there as a Borg drone as well.
You're suggesting a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
The main characters, absolutely. Yeah,
it's gonna be
I think out of all of them, I think Agnes is probably fit that she would sacrifice herself, her own body, to get rid of her. So I think that is probably a character that has probably played itself out. Because what do you do with Agnes in season 3? She already got manipulated in the first season. Right?
She got manipulated again.
And so you've brought her into season 2. The only way she can redeem killing somebody is going to have to be sacrificing herself.
Yep.
That's what they do in normal Hollywood movies or storytelling. Is if a character kills somebody, they got to pay the price somehow.
Right.
And I reckon she's a goner. I'd be really upset if they got rid of Rios, because Rios is one of the highlights of this show for me.
All right,
I think
so
it's a character that could move.
I can weave it a little bit. He's going to have a big. So in order to fix the gap with the timeline, because you can't bring this woman into the future, her and her son get assimilated, and Rios manages to get away.
That's dark.
No.
No. This is a dark season.
It would be awesome if they did it, but holy moly, how dark would that be?
This would, so I've been reading Reddits, and a lot of people are trying to compare this to Nemesis. I think this would really shake everybody up and bring it about and make this like the best season ending ever.
I would just be in shock if the writers were inspired by Nemesis in any way for this. Because I feel like they've done nothing but try to go, that thing never happened. Like, we have to address the fact that Data died. But if Data hadn't died in that movie, they just would have pretended Nemesis never happened.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that they're really going to do something spectacular, because think about it. If Raffi and Seven come back to the ship and this group of Borg drone mercenaries comes and they see the little kid get assimilated, and then you get 709 losing it because she remembers being assimilated as a kid herself.
Yeah.
Annika was assimilated as a young girl.
Yep.
So this could be the point where she's like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want that future. I don't want to be assimilated. I remember. And boom.
It would make sense as we've discussed before, it makes sense to leave the series on not a cliffhanger, but a dark ending, because it is the second act, and you want to put your characters in the worst possible position to set up the third season. But I don't know how. Wow.
You guys think I went too dark?
I think you got some bloodlust there. That's what I think.
I don't have bloodlust.
Kill them all.
Kill them
all. Okay. Here's what Admiral? I think. All right. Girardi will take over the collective. I think that she's going to beat the Borg Queen, and I think that the Borg that we met in the premiere episode is Girardi.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's going to be her.
Yeah,
I agree.
We definitely agree that. Yep.
I'm kind of getting the impression that because Rios has been so comfortable in the 21st century, that he's going to stay behind.
Oh,
he's going to stay behind with Teresa and her son. And I don't know, maybe Picard and the others will realize that there's like thousands of more Rioses in the future because he did the nasty and the pasty, that made that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think
he right-geared him.
I think Seven's safe. I think that Raffi's safe. I think we're going to get Elnor back. That's just I just can't.
I'll have to make another picture saying the return of Space Legacy.
I just don't think that they're going to leave him dead. And am I leaving anybody out? Oh yeah, Picard's going to be fine.
Can I just say about that? I, as an Australian, I'm not comfortable now with our accent being kind of linked with the Romulans. Like, we're pretty easygoing kind of people. Have you not noticed? He's an Aussie.
Oh,
the actor that plays him.
Aussie?
Space Legacy is an Aussie. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I hear it and I go, man, we're Romulans.
Well, the English have been, they've been the bad guys in science fiction films forever.
Oh, yeah.
I think a heroic Romulan getting your accent is actually
neat.
I mean, you're never going to see anybody in science fiction with a Texas accent walking around. We're going to assimilate you, okay? y'all get over here and come and walk into my tubules.
They should, though. They should. Everybody gets represented.
Cool. Yeah.
In all seriousness, no, it is. It's the first. I can't think of any other time I've heard an Australian accent in Star Trek. Now I think of it.
I really can't. Admiral?
I actually, I think this is it. I think
quite honestly, I don't think I've ever heard an Australian accent in Star Trek that I recall.
I think it doesn't jump out. So if that's the case, we'll take ownership of him. I'm going to get t-shirts made and everything now. I've completely flipped. Now I love the fact that he's
Welcome to Australia. We're space Legolas, Homo Space Legolas.
Well, lots of planets have an Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Vulcan guys. Nah, we fucking.
If the Doctor can be English, Vulcans can be Australian. There you go. That's a rule. It's in a book. I don't know what book. I'll write official. It, but it's there.
So what do we have left? We have only 2 episodes, correct?
Yes, we have 2 episodes. Hide and Seek, I believe, is the name of the next episode.
Ooh, interesting. So maybe
someone will be hiding, and I assume someone will be seeking.
So I'm assuming that we're trying to hide the La Sirena, and the Borg Queen, now Girardi, is going to be seeking with her mercenary group. And then the last episode, they will be assimilating.
It does feel, though, we've had, it feels like they've got a lot to resolve in the next 2 hours, don't they?
Yes, they do. We've gone from spinning our wheels to plot overdrive, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But we'll find out next week, won't we?
Yes, we will. Well, I think unless Admiral or Lieutenant, you have anything else to add?
Nope, not at this point. Just bring on the next episode, and let's hope they, write themselves out of a way here that will satisfy us all.
There you go. Admiral?
Here's hoping. I hope the same thing. Just make it good. Just make it good.
Just make it entertaining and good.
Make it good.
Make it good. Make it so. Make
it good.
I've got one more prediction.
Okay.
One more prediction real quick. I know we got to wrap it up, but I think that the last scene of the season will echo the season finale of the first season of Star Trek Discovery with the arrival of the Enterprise E.
Oh.
And it will be commanded by Captain Worf.
Oh,
that is I'm going to go out on a limb.
Good setup for the third season too.
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
I would love it. I'm there for every second of that.
They've got the sovereign models. They've got the sovereign CGI model already because it was in the first episode. So I'm kind of thinking that it was. Yeah, it was in that big group shot of ships that was there. There was a sovereign there.
Oh,
I remember thinking, oh my gosh, they remember it exists.
Yeah, because you notice like the Excelsior ship, Enterprise B, lasted forever. And even I think I even saw one recently in Picard or Discovery or something like that.
Yep. It was a slight redesign, though. They call it the Excelsior 2 class, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. So I thought so. I was like, so that ship managed to outlast every other ship, including the E. I found that to be very entertaining. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Captain's Quadrant. I just want to give once more a huge thank you to the Admiral for joining us. I salute you, sir. Thank you for being a part of Captain's Quadrant. All right. Thank you. We appreciate you being here with us again, and we're looking forward to you coming by again with your thoughts and quandaries of Star Trek Picard, and of course, Strange New Worlds, as that's coming out in about 2 weeks.
Can't wait.
So psyched for that. It's going to be so much to talk about. There's a bit of Star Trek news. They had a big interview with Anton Melton, who is playing Captain Pike, and it seems like that Captain Kirk is going to be a reoccurring character and may get a spin-off show. It won't be one season for Christopher Pike, like so many have predicted because of the announcement of Captain Kirk.
I'm glad to hear
being
that,
casted.
because I still think it's too early for the introduction of Kirk, but we'll wait
and see. As William Shatner says, "C'est la vie." So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for watching, depending on where your perspective is in space and time. Our Captain's Quadrant on Spectrum Sanctorum. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple iTunes if that's how you're listening to us. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and share with your friends, family, brother, sister, and transgender species, because we could use all the friends we have out in the Star Trek world and universe. I'm Captain Dove. This is Captain's Quadrant, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.